it's not easy for those kids to go to school. The kids end up staying at home instead of being in school. A kid going to school and the school is so far, they walk every day going to school. They don't even have that enough money to buy other shoes. It's hard for them to walk barefoot. It's not easy.
这应该是目前为止我做过最有益的影片了。我们都对在台湾生活有多么舒服感到骄傲。台湾的小孩在我眼里看来是非常尊重人与温和，大部分都行为良好，但是他们都没有意会到自己有多幸福。他们可能也不会好好对待自己的物品书本，乱撕乱丢，有些甚至不在乎他们的文具用品如果不够可爱，掉地上就不捡起来。我并不是在怪他们，是我们该告诉他们其他孩子是怎么生活的。所以我希望看这支影片，你可以分享出去，不管给谁，提醒我们感恩珍惜的意思。此外建议你看到之后，因为你一定会很震惊。现在让我们听听看 Ashley 在肯亚的小孩是怎么生活的。
Hi guys, my name is Ashley. I'm a Kenyan YouTuber. I study accounting in KCA University in my second year, and I am living in Nairobi, Kenya.
首先，很多在肯亚的小朋友根本无法上学，我们来听听看原因哦。
So first, kids don't go to school and some can't. The main issue is poverty, especially in the rural areas in Kenya. You'll find a lot of kids who are not in school. It's not easy for them because like their families can't afford like to take them to school because they lack money, they lack financial support, so the kids end up staying at home instead of being in school. And secondly, you'll find a kid who's so much into drugs, so drugs kind of like drains that kid and prevents that kid from like going to school. The environment conditions, it's a challenge too for them because, for example, you may find like maram roads are so common there in the rural areas in Kenya, so it's not easy for those kids to go to school, especially here in Kenya. Like the temperatures are so high, and when like it's high, the maram roads are so dusty, so it's going to be difficult for the kids to go to school with that, you know, condition, situation, dusty places, areas. Yeah, especially the ones who have like sicknesses or like, you know, these body conditions, who are asthmatic. Like it's not easy for them. Long distance is a challenge too. For example, a kid going to school and the school is so far, they walk every day going to school. So yeah, it's a huge challenge because like them walking every day and the distance is so far, so like you may find like their shoes, you know, torn, like getting torn, and like they don't even have that enough money to buy other shoes, you know, they can't afford, so it's like hard for them to walk barefoot.
运气好能去上课的小朋友，我们来听听看他们的环境。
The school conditions are so low, they lack facilities and resources, and when it comes to like class sizes, the class sizes are so like it's not spacious like in those areas. For example, you may find a school has like 5 classes, and in total like the kids are 3,000. So you can just imagine how they will fit. Like there's inadequate like space there, so it's not easy for them like to be comfortable in the class. Any kind of disease, it's easy for any transmission of diseases there because of that congestion, so that causes kids not to go to school, and it really affects people, it really affects everyone there. So yeah, learning materials is not enough there. They don't have that money to buy those learning materials, they don't have that enough money to buy them. Then secondly, I think distance is a challenge too, because like you may find a school in this like located in this town, and the shops where those learning materials are sold in another town, and the distance like is so far, and you know there in the rural areas in Kenya, transport is a huge problem. So it's not like here in town like where it's easy for you just to go like from one place to, you know, another to buy those stuff. And when the kids lack the learning materials, it's not easy for them like to go to school, because you find some kids who have a lot who don't have, so they don't study well, so some of them like just stop going to school like that. Yeah, and then they don't have enough schools there. The schools are very less in the rural areas, and especially private schools are more in the rural areas than public schools. Mostly kids go to public schools there in the rural areas because they can't afford the private ones. The private ones are costly, so they go to the cheaper ones, the ones that they can afford. So like that's a huge challenge, because like you'll find a public school which is so much congested, and there is no, like the classes are not enough, it lacks a lot of space, so it's not easy for the kids to like to survive. Again, they need help. So some of them like stop just going to school because there are not enough teachers in school, and some teachers, they don't teach well, you know, they're not qualified, so like that's a huge problem.
辍学的比例在肯亚极高，也来听听看背后原因吧。
Dropout rate is so high here in Kenya. Every time like when schools are closed, like oh my, there's a huge percentage of girls getting pregnant, and like when they just get pregnant, they stop going to school automatically. So like that's a challenge in school, like, and they don't like continue with education. And then secondly, the kids are being influenced by other kids to take drugs. So like drugs and a lot of girls being impregnated is a very huge challenge.
我也非常在乎是会对女生的方式，看看 Ashley 怎么说。
It happens in some communities in the rural areas. They have this mentality, those traditionally, the girls are not being provided with education, but the boys are the ones who are sent to school because they believe that the boys are so hardworking and they're meant to go to school, and afterwards they're going to help their families. And girls, like girls, their work is just staying at home and doing this housework, and you know, and staying at home and being taught how to be a good wife and having these wifey materials and stuff. Nowadays it's not that much.
最后，当然吃的健康对年纪轻的小孩来说很重要。他们吃的如何呢？
In the rural areas, most people can afford these taps for running water. So mostly people have this borehole for storing water. The upper layer of the water is clean, but the bottom layer it's dirty. It has these dirt particles and some worms. You find like a kid having these like waterborne diseases, transmitting those kinds of diseases, and like their diet is not that like good. And in terms of like having a healthy diet, like it's hard for them to buy food because most of the people in the rural areas, like they are farmers. Sometimes the land is so dry and the food like has dried up, and they don't have that money to go and buy food, so sometimes they just eat once, like mostly in fact like they eat once like in a day, like one meal, because like they can't afford, like poverty is so high. So like when the kid goes like without eating, like, you know, breakfast or lunch, like that kid cannot focus in school, and it's like because the kid is hungry, his or her parents don't have that money to buy food, and food provided in school is not enough because the school is so congested. So like that's a huge challenge.
希望这支影片对你有帮助，你们也能够分享出去，让我们更能够提醒自己。平常我们在抱怨生活时，它其实是已经有多么好了。请记得分享、按赞，这能让更多的人看到。我也需要你们的建议，我们该怎么去帮助这些孩子？留言跟我说。最后也请按下订阅，谢谢你的观看，下一次见喽，拜拜。